Hello and happy Tuesday, everyone. We are going to have a nice sweaty practice together in the middle of the day. This is a new semester, so potentially a new crowd of people joining in for our yoga practices. And so I thought it would be appropriate to introduce today some of the nuts and bolts of a vinyasa yoga practice. That doesn't mean that it's foundational. That doesn't mean that it's for beginners. But it does mean that it's maybe some of the more traditional core movements, and particularly focusing on Sun Salutation sequences. And so things today might not necessarily be as fancy as other practices might potentially be, but we will do a lot of Sun Salutation A's, a lot of Sun Salutation B's, and that will get us moving, that will get us breathing, and hopefully that will get us sweating. It's definitely going to get me sweating. So if you would, go ahead and move to your mat, lie down on your back, get nice and comfortable. Close your eyes. Give your fingers a wiggle, your toes a wiggle. And start by exhaling all the air out of the lungs. Just blow it all out. Inhale through the nose. Breathe into the belly for 3, 2, 1. Blow it all out. So for this breathing practice, we're going to cultivate the long inhales, and then we're just going to do explosive exhales. So I'm not going to count out the exhales. We're using our breath to upregulate our energy today. So inhale for 3, 2, 1. Blow it all out. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Blow it out. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blow it out. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blow it out. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blow it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blow it out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blow it out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blow it out. Now 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold at the top. Hold, hold, hold with your lungs full. Take even some more air in, even some more. Another little sip of air. Now blow it all out. Nice. All right, now just allow your breath to take on a normal and natural pacing of breath, in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Just kind of observe the feel of the breath moving through your body. As is always the case in a yoga practice, we meet ourselves where we are today on the mat. And so now is a great time for you to just kind of move into how you're feeling today. It's different from how you were feeling yesterday and how you might be feeling tomorrow. You are not a robot. You are a moment in time, and that means that there's a history to you and there is a story to how you're feeling today, and that is all good, and that is all worth paying attention to, and presenting as you are today, not as you want to be, not as you used to be, or as you could be, or as I am. That's what makes yoga a practice. All right, so go ahead and move through a few more full rounds of breath here. I want to make sure my laptop's all plugged in. We're going to practice for about an hour today, so we'll get nice and warm. I'm pretty confident of that. All right, so if you would, inhale, arms overhead, point the toes toward the front, reach and extend. Exhale, hug both knees to the chest, rounding the spine. Inhale, reach, extend. Exhale, rounding the spine. Activate the low belly as you draw the knees toward the face. Inhale, reach, extend. Exhale, rounding the spine. Even pick the head and shoulders off the mat. This is really active as you coil up. Inhale, reach, extend. Exhale, hug knees to chest. All right, keep grabbing hold of just the right knee and release the left leg down onto the earth. You can relax your head, your shoulders down onto the earth, and take some knee circles here. Nice deep breaths. Nice long Not long, slow exhales, actually. Just breathe it all out on your exhales. And let's switch legs. So draw some little circles with that left knee. All right, in power yoga, we usually try to speed it up a little bit. And so I'll just remind you that if at any point you feel like adding in some push-ups, adding in some little extra movements, adding in any variations that might deepen the challenge or deepen the stretch, you are welcome to do that. All right, so release the arms down by your sides, and we're going to take it through some spinal twists, just starting to mobilize the low back, the hips. And so I want you to just pick up your leg, cross it across your body, and then switch sides, right to left. Draw the leg across your body, and just find a nice dynamic twisting movement here. Should feel really nice. All right, now go ahead and roll over onto your belly. Just flip it right over. And we're going to do some Supermans. We don't usually think of Supermans as something that we do in a yoga practice, but it is not unlike some of the back bending poses like locust or something like that. So reach the arms forward, point the toes toward the back, and let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Superman. Relax, maybe relax your head down or your ear onto the earth. And then bring your chin back to center. We're going to do another set of 5, chin forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then turn your ear to the other side. Just relax for a moment. Let's press it up to tabletop here. I'm going to turn around just to make sure you can hear my mic. So press it up to tabletop. Have your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. Let's take it through a few rounds of cat-cow. So forward, backward flexion of the spine. Generally speaking, as you inhale, you draw the sternum forward, gaze goes up, and as you exhale, you round the spine, tucking the chin to the chest. And so just pay special attention here to the movement of your spine and how it feels, and if there's any little points, any little movements that you're like, oh yeah, I could lean into that, then lean into that. Maybe you could take some organic movements here. Maybe you could lean into one hip, the other hip, maybe some side-to-side movements, some neck rolls. Don't forget your neck. Your neck is part of your spine. I think people forget that. All right, let's do opposite arm as leg. So I want you to pick up the right leg, press the right leg back behind you, have it in line with the hip, and then pick up the left arm, reach and extend, take an inhale, and then on the exhale, just set it back down on the mat, back to tabletop. Other side, pick up the left leg, right arm, reach, extend, keep that tension in the low belly, exhale back to tabletop. We're going to keep going right to left, so pick up right leg, left arm, exhale back down, inhale, opposite side, exhale back down. Keep going on your own time, on your own pace. You don't have to be doing the exact same arm and leg as I am. Just use your breath, maintain that core tension as you move, activate the low belly, mobilize the shoulders, the hips. Just starting to warm up the big muscles here. It can be very easy when you're doing opposite arms and legs to be lazy in your core, right? So we were just talking about cat-cow movements. You could do this movement relaxed down like a cow, right? I don't want you to do that. I want you to find neutral with the spine, so that by definition requires that you activate the low belly, and also find some lift in the low back that might even activate the mid and upper back, all right? So find that neutral spine as you pick up opposite arm and leg. Let's do 4 more each side. Maintain that long, controlled breath. All right, so come back to tabletop. Curl your toes under and shift your body weight back into the balls of your feet. Get a nice little stretch here. And now glance at your hands. You want to have your fingers nice and wide. Your elbows are straight. Now, as you're also looking at your elbows, I want you to think about rotating the insides of the elbows forward toward the top of the mat. Even while you're doing that, keep the hands from twisting out pigeon-toed also, all right? So you don't want the hands to start to twist outward. You want to keep your hands parallel with one another. All right, curl the back toes under if you didn't already. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the feet, right, left, right, left. Nice deep breaths. Pay particular attention to the inhales. We're taking all that oxygen in, turning it into energy. All right, let's take it through a few little flows to warm the muscles. So drop the hips in line with the shoulders, top of the push-up. Exhale to lower all the way to the mat. Inhale, Cobra. It's kind of like Superman, but without the arms attached to it. So you're being active in the upper back. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 long, slow breaths, downward facing dog. Another flow. Drop the hips in line with the shoulders, top of the push-up. Find lift between the shoulder blades. We're not sagging in the upper back. We're finding that neutral spine, kind of like in tabletop. Exhale to lower with control. As you go, bend the elbows toward the feet, nice and strong in the triceps. Inhale, Cobra. Gaze is forward, neck is long. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to spend a lot of time of our warm-up here in these flow sequences. So you're going to get nice and strong here with your shoulders, your triceps. All right, lower your hips in line with the shoulders again, top of the push-up. So I mentioned this before, but I want to camp out here for a moment. It is a stronger push-up movement to bend your elbows towards your feet, all right? Fight the temptation to bend the elbows out to the side like chicken wings. Keep the elbows close to the body as you lower to the earth. Another way of saying it is that your elbows shave the ribs, so keep them hugged in close. That brings the strength, or that brings the movement into your triceps, nice and strong with the arms rather than chicken winging out to the side, and that loads the wrists in an awkward way. All right, Cobra, inhale. Peel the chest and shoulders off the mat. Downward facing dog on the exhale. We're going to take it through 3 flow sequences just like this with the breath. I'll call it out. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's 1. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember that in Cobra, you're not using the strength of your arms to peel your chest and shoulders off the mat. You're using the muscles in your spine. Lower the hips in line with the shoulders, top of the push-up on the inhale. Exhale to lower. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, let's take a little break for our shoulders. Bring the knees to the earth, bring the big toes to touch, settle the arms forward, coming into child's pose. This is probably a pretty familiar pose to you, and if it's not, it should be, because this is a great resting pose. If at any point you get tired, overheated, or you just really want to take some weight off of your shoulders, child's pose. Maybe nod your head yes, or shake your head no, roll your forehead on the mat to the right, to the left. You always have child's pose available to you. All right, curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Let's take it through one more of those flows just to make sure you didn't forget. Lower the hips in line with the shoulders, top of the push-up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, Cobra, using the muscles in the spine, not the hands. Exhale, downward facing dog. Very nice. All right, glance up at the hands and walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Just for a moment, close your eyes with your hands at heart center. Bring your awareness to your posture, to your feet. Maybe rock your body weight forward, back. Pick up the toes, spread them wide, press them back into the earth. All right, we're going to take it through a few half sun salutations. And so that's the standing part of the sun salutation. It moves with breath, and it moves a little bit like this. Let's do this together. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. For this next half sun salutation, why don't you take it with the knees bent ever so slightly? A lot of times we think about sun salutations, or at least the forward folds, as being all about the hamstrings, and so the legs are straight and we're getting this nice hamstring stretch. But when you take a soft knee bend, you're engaging the hamstrings a little bit more, and so it's not so much about stretching them as it is about actively lengthening them almost eccentrically. Starts to maybe warm the muscles a little bit more rather than just begin by stretching them. All right, so soft bend in the knees. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that again. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull it to heart center. Okay, so now we're going to take the half sun salutation that we just did and connect it with that vinyasa flow with downward facing dog, and that makes a full sun salutation. So from the top of the mat, inhale, arms overhead. You can have your knees bent or straight, it's up to you. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. We're sticking with Cobra for the moment. We'll graduate to the upward facing dog here in a couple rounds. All right, here we are in downward facing dog. 2 long, slow breaths. Check back in with your foundation here. Make sure your index finger, your pinky, and your thumb are all pressing into the earth. You're not rolling out to one side of your hands. All right, glance up at the hands, walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Nice. Let's do one more full sun salutation, and then we'll start to add the chaturanga and upward facing dog if you want, and we'll talk about other variations that can make it more challenging. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. Inhale for the back bend. Exhale for downward facing dog. Glance up at the hands, walk, step, or float your feet, top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. So one of the things that makes a sun salutation great is that it works all the joints in the body, and it takes you from standing to being on the ground, which are two very functional poses and postures for the body that you use on a regular basis. Also, it deals with a fold, which is stretching the back of the body, and also a back bend, which is stretching the front of the body. So it's a nice holistic movement of the whole body. It's very balanced. So on this next sun salutation, I'll cue the vinyasa upward facing, or the chaturanga upward facing dog, and we'll talk a little bit about cueing for that. You always have the option to stick with Cobra pose. That's the one where you're just using your back muscles to lift the chest and shoulders off the mat. That's also a nice back bend, right, because it's stretching the front of the body here. Upward facing dog is just a little bit more intense, right? It loads the shoulders a little bit more. So it's more of a total body back bend. And so we'll do that now. Here we go. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it back to plank. Now pause. Remember what I said about bending the elbows alongside the ribs. So we're lowering halfway with control. Bring your shoulders in line with the elbows. So the elbows are pointing back toward the feet. And now when you hit this halfway lower, chaturanga, the tops of the feet flip to the top of the mat, now, or to touching the mat. Now straighten the arms. Your gaze is forward. So the arms are straight and the tops of the feet are on the earth. Your thighs are not making contact with the earth. And so think of your body like a suspension bridge, going from your shoulders to that anchor point on the tops of your feet. Take an inhale. This is your back bend. Exhale. Press the feet into the earth to take it back to downward facing dog. So lots of ab involvement there. 2 breaths. All right, we're going to take it through that same vinyasa flow sequence with going from plank to chaturanga to up dog, just to recap it for a moment, and then we're going to start mixing and matching various movements. All right, so drop the hips in line with the shoulders, bring the shoulders over the wrist, top of the push-up, take an inhale. Exhale to lower halfway, all right? Pause here. You're loading the shoulders. Bring the tops of the feet to the earth, straighten the arms, upward facing dog. Draw the sternum forward toward the front, gaze is forward. Tuck the tailbone under ever so slightly to maintain tension in the low belly. You're not just dumping into the low back. All right, now this is your inhale. On the exhale, press the tops of the feet into the earth, lift from the hips, take it back to downward facing dog. All right, lower your knees to the earth for a moment. I'm just going to relax for just a second. Take some of the body weight off the shoulders, the wrists. Now, as we take it through sun salutations, you always have the option, if you want to build a little bit more strength in your shoulders, make this more challenging, you always have the option, as you take it from chaturanga to upward facing dog, is to instead add some push-ups. Maybe you do 2. Maybe you do 5. You can do as many as you want in that chaturanga to upward facing dog. All right, so that's always an option for you. So that's how you could dial it up. Also, you can always just skip that part. The vinyasa flow is designed to build some heat, but you don't always absolutely have to do it. Okay, let's go ahead and meet back in downward facing dog. 2 long, slow breaths. Glance up at your hands. Walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Now we are going to take it through a complete sun salutation. Given everything I just showed you, choose your own adventure. Make this as exciting or as familiar as you want. Here we go. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. Glance up at the hands. Walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand. Sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. That is called Sun Salutation A. It begins and ends standing at the top of the mat. If you are ever pressed for time and you don't want to do an entire yoga practice or attend a class somewhere, if you just take it through 10 Sun Salutations, I guarantee you will feel better. You will have gotten your blood moving and your breath working and all the joints and muscles in your body activated. All right, we're going to add some lunges into this now. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it through a flow. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Pause for a moment, lower the back knee to the earth. And inhale, come into a low crescent lunge here. So the front knee is over the front ankle. The back knee is grounded. The back toes are uncurled for a moment. All right, now curl the back toes under. Activate the back knee and just pick the knee off the earth. The front knee is still over the front ankle. Arms are still straight. Gaze is forward. Neck is long. Crescent lunge. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, spin the back heel down, coming into Warrior Two. Flip the right palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Gaze goes up. Inhale, back to Warrior Two. Exhale, circle the hands. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Two breaths. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Lower the back knee to the earth. Uncurl the back toes. Really grounding into that back knee first as you sink into a low crescent lunge right here. Gaze is forward. Think about tucking the tailbone under so you feel that stretch in the right hip flexor. And now, even when you curl the back toes under and pick up the back knee, still feel that stretch in the hip flexor. So you're tucking the tailbone and have a soft bend in that back knee. Take an inhale. Exhale, straighten the back leg. Spin the back heel down, coming into Warrior Two. Arms are in line with shoulders. So in addition to the arms being stretched out laterally side to side, your legs are also on a tightrope here, right? And so one isn't forward toward the edge of the mat or back. Imagine that you've got a force field going down both sides of the body. So if you could draw a line from the front heel to the arch of the back foot, your feet would be on that line. Flip the left palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Gaze goes up. Inhale, back to Warrior Two. Exhale, circle the hands, step it back to plank, follow your breath, take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. Glance up at the hands, walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Nice. All right, we're going to do some side-to-side movement here just to shake things up a little bit. We've been doing a lot of forward, backward in the same plane of movement, and so step your feet hip distance apart, have a soft bend in the knees. Inhale, arms overhead. And on the exhale, plant the right hand on the right hip, reach up and over to the whole right side. Nice long side stretch. Feel that stretch down the side waist. Maybe even peek up toward the sky. Inhale, back to center. Other side. Gaze goes up underneath that upper arm. So we're not twisting our shoulders. We're not dropping our sternum toward the earth. We're moving in a nice long side bend. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, back to the first side. Inhale. Second side. Inhale, back to center. And release the arms down by your sides. Now, while we're here straight onto the camera, let's start to incorporate our inner thigh stretching here. So step your feet about a leg distance apart. Your feet are parallel with each other. Now bring your hands to your hips. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, hinge forward and down over the legs. Plant your hands on the earth. And maybe walk your hands forward. But keep your hips, your tailbone in line with the line of your feet. So you're not turning this into like a super long downward facing dog. You're just walking your hands forward to get a little stretch across from fingers to tailbone, so down the length of the spine here. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. All right, now walk your hands back beneath your shoulders here. Plant the left hand on the earth and inhale, reach the right fingertips to the sky. Breathe into that left inner thigh. Exhale, back to center. Plant the right hand. Inhale, reach the left fingertips to the sky. Breathe into that right inner thigh. Exhale, back to center. We're going to go 2 more times each side. Plant the left hand. Inhale, reach to the right. Gaze goes up. Exhale, back to center. Plant the right hand. Inhale, reach to the left. Gaze goes up. Try to find a rotation with the shoulders. Exhale, back to center. 1 more time each side. Inhale to the right. Exhale, back to center. Last time this side. Inhale to the left. Exhale. All right, now bring your hands to your hips. Take a soft bend in the knees as you come up to standing, and now shorten your stance just a little bit. So now you used to have like a leg in between your feet. Now you've got like a short leg in between your feet. So bend your knees, bring your hands to your knees. And so you're supporting yourself. And now drive your knees out to the sides like a really wide sumo stance here. And now what we're going to do is this is just a nice organic stretch for the upper body. We're just going to drop one shoulder, then the other underneath the midline. And as you drop one shoulder, then the other, you might also shift your gaze up toward the sky. Just a nice twisting rotation for the upper back here. Also, a little stretch for the inner thighs. Maybe sink a little bit lower. Sink your hips a little bit lower here. Might pull more of a stretch into the inner thighs. All right, release, come back up to standing. Let's take it back to the top of the mat. Back to Sun Salutations now. So we did Sun Salutation A several times. Now we're going to do Sun Salutation B. It is similar in structure, but it just has a couple little additions to it, like Warrior One and Chair Pose. So here at the top of the mat, step your feet together, toes, heels touch. Inhale, bring it up to chair pose. And so chair pose, also known as fierce pose, I think it's called. So settle the tailbone back toward a chair that you almost can't quite get to. Body weight is in the heels. Arms are overhead. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, hands to the earth. Take it back to plank and take it through a flow. Should be pretty familiar at this point. 2 breaths in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step the right foot through next to the right thumb. Now, spin the back heel down and give it some space. Scooch it off to the left side so your feet aren't on a tightrope anymore. They're like on train tracks. Now, inhale, draw the arms overhead. Elbows are straight, palms are facing each other. Your back leg is straight, your back heel is rooted into the earth. Warrior One. So Warrior One is a little more stable than Crescent Lunge because it's not so balancy. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. Remember, you always have the option to throw in little extra push-ups or skip it. Inhale, lift the left leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Spin the back heel down just like on the other side. Find some space. So swing it a little bit out to the right now. Inhale, arms overhead. Warrior One. Okay, so anytime you're in Warrior One, you want to be fighting to keep your hips square with the front of the mat. And so bring your right hand down to your right hip. So you've got a little bit of physical feedback here. It's tempting in Warrior One to open the hips to the side, but you want to close the hips forward to the front of the room, front of the mat, kind of like the headlights of a car. All right? And so in order to have the hips square with one another, you might shorten your stance just a little bit. So it's not so much about having this long stance that's as wide as your mat. It's really about getting a nice stretch in the hip flexor here. Inhale, arms overhead, Warrior One. Exhale, hands to the earth. Take it through a flow. Glance up at the hands. Walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And we finish it the way we started, bringing it into chair pose on the inhale. Body weight is in the heels, really active in the upper back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. So since we just learned the finer points of Sun Salutation B, we're going to move through it one more time. This time, I'm just going to cue the breaths. I'm going to try not to teach a lot. I'm going to try. All right, so from the top of the mat, inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it through a flow. Two breaths. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Spin the back heel down. Inhale, Warrior One. Exhale, hands to the mat, flow. Two breaths. Inhale, lift the left leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through. Spin the back heel down. Warrior One on the inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth. And flow. Two breaths. At the end of that exhale, glance up at the hands. Walk, step, or float your feet top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, come back to standing. Very nice. So one more little feature of Sun Salutations that you've probably noticed is walk, step, or float your feet. So those are basically your options for traveling forward from downward facing dog to the fold, or traveling from the fold back to the flow. So a walk would be taking a lot of steps back. Okay? A step would be just one big step. All right? And then a float is just a little hop. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be pretty. I would encourage you, if you've never tried floating your feet, maybe now is a great time to try it. Nobody's watching. You're in your living room. I can't even see what you're doing. So a lot of times people can get into their heads about hopping because it's like, well, what if I fall on my face? What if I stub my toe? It's like, what if you do? You try it again next time. You'll get better at it. All right? Face your fears. All right, so from the top of the mat, we're going to take it through one more. Sun Salutation B. Feet together. Chair pose on the inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it through a flow. 2 breaths, downward facing dog. Right side, inhale. Exhale, step it through. Remember, we're going into warrior one, so find some space between right foot, left foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands to the earth. Take it through a flow. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through. Spin the back heel down. Warrior one. Exhale. Two breaths in downward facing dog. And glance up at the hands. Walk, step, or float your feet. Top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, come back up to standing. Very nice. Okay, so we are almost out of time. So with everything that we just learned, we're going to do a dancing warrior flow. It's a warrior sequence that is based off of the Sun Salutation A from the top of the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it back to plank and follow your breath through a flow. Inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Find your balance and inhale right into Crescent Lunge. Soft bend in the back knee. Remember the back heel is lifted. Exhale into Warrior Two. Spin the back heel down. Sink into that right inner thigh. The front knee is over the front ankle, tracking toward the middle of the foot. Flip the right palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior gaze goes up. Find your balance from front to back. Inhale back to warrior two. And on the exhale, bring the right elbow to the right knee, left fingertips up toward the sky, side angle. If you're pretty comfy with side angle and you're used to bringing your hand to the earth, then plant your right hand on the earth just inside the right big toe. Your left fingertips could be up toward the sky, or if you want to take extended side angle, where you flip the palm as though you could high five the earth, and you're bringing your bicep down by your ear. And so you're making one long angle down the whole left side of the body, like a right triangle. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, circle that left hand to the earth. Step it back to plank and take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to do that same sequence on the left side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through. Find your balance. Inhale for Crescent Lunge. Exhale for Warrior Two. Flip the left palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Gaze goes up. Inhale, back to warrior two. Side angle on the exhale. Maybe the elbow finds the knee first. And if you find that you're feeling pretty good about that, maybe the left hand floats to the earth just inside the left big toe. And if you're feeling pretty good about that, maybe find that nice long side angle, as the pose is called, down the whole right side of the body. It's like you're making one straight line. One more inhale. Exhale, circle the right hand to the earth, step it back to plank. Take it through flow. Glance up at the hands, walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Let's take a little rest here, standing. So release the hands down by your sides. Roll the shoulder blades back and down. Get some width across the front of the chest. Tall through the crown of the head. And for a nice and easy balancing pose today, we're just going to do a standing quad stretch. So shift all of your body weight to your left leg and just pick up the right foot, kind of like a little flamingo. All right, so pick up the knee and the foot. And when you've got your balance from right to left, front to back, your standing leg should be straight, by the way. Then just reach your right hand back and grab hold of the right foot, the top of the right foot. Relax the ankle. Don't fight with your hand. And then the idea here is that you want your knee to be pointing toward the earth. It is tempting when stretching the quadricep hip flexor to find some sort of weird little twisty thing off to the side, but then you don't feel the stretch and there's no sensation there. And so, we never want to hurt ourselves in a pose, and we never want to put ourselves into a pose that would be counterproductive to our goals, but you also want to explore your limits, explore where you are growing now, explore the edge of discomfort. Because we always want to be developing. We want to be more tomorrow than we were today. Take an inhale. And then without slingshotting your foot, release your hand and just lightly set it back down on the earth. Other side. Shift all of your body weight to your right leg, and then just pick up that left leg like a little flamingo again. Root into your balance. Forward, backward, right to left. Not wobbling. And then reach back, grab hold of the foot. And just like on the other side, where there's a good chance you got a little bit more comfortable in this stretch, in this pose, the longer we were here, the longer I talked to you. The same thing is true with balancing poses. That in the beginning, we're just kind of focused on not falling over. And then once we get a little bit more comfortable, we get a little bit more relaxed in that balancing pose, then we can introduce something like a stretch. And then we can explore what would a challenge look like in that stretch. Take an inhale. And with control, without slingshotting your foot, set it back down onto the earth. All right, step your feet about mat width apart, so pretty wide on the mat. We're going to take it into a squat. Why not? Bend the knees, bend the hips. Keep the heels on the earth and sink nice and low into a squat. Since we did that wide leg stretch earlier where we're stretching out our inner thighs, the squat doesn't feel so creaky at this point in practice as it usually does. Bring the elbows inside the knees, bring the hands to heart center, so hands in prayer, so you're using your forearms to press the knees out to the side. Something that's kind of fun and challenging in the bottom of a squat is to explore a little bit of twisting for your upper back. So kind of like in our wide leg fold, when you planted one hand on the earth, we're going to try to explore that same twisting movement, reaching the left fingertips up toward the sky, gaze goes up, and then let's bring it back down to center. Other side, plant the left hand, inhale, reach the right fingertips up toward the sky. So you may not be able to see that I am doing this, but a key to this pose is keeping your knee from drifting inward in that twist, and the way you do that is with your upper arm / your shoulder. Let's go back one more time each side. Second side. All right, now straighten the legs, lift the hips, give your legs a little shake. And now just for fun, since this is power yoga, we're going to kind of take a combo of the wide leg fold plus the low squat in a pose that I've only ever heard it referred to as a ninja pose. I don't know if that's actually the name for it or what it's called. I should do my research. So here's what I want you to do. Step your feet really wide. Keep your body weight keep your heels on the earth, and then you're basically going to take a squat with only one leg. And so I want you to bend, my right, your left, bend your knee into a low squat here. Stay grounded in your straight leg. All right, now you've got your balance here. It takes a lot of ankle flexibility. Don't fall back, but I mean, if you need to, it's not the end of the world. I like to reach my arms forward to keep my balance, to counterbalance my glutes. So now what you're going to do is, once you're settled in a nice low squat with one leg, rotate your straight toes and knee toward the sky. Okay, that's your right leg. Now, just like, okay, you could hang out here. If this is particularly challenging and you're gritting your teeth and you're having a hard time breathing, then, hang out here, explore the difficulty, explore the struggle. But if you're feeling pretty good here, you might try grounding your left arm and reaching your right fingertips up toward the sky, finding a little openness in the chest here. Or you might try finding the wrap around the back of that foot, back of that knee. So much of putting ourselves in uncomfortable poses is so that we learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Because the purpose of life is to never experience discomfort. It's to be okay with discomfort. Okay, let's come on out of it, shall we? Oh, that gets to be a lot. Okay, I'm going to shake my legs out for a moment. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Nice wide stance. Sink into a squat on your right side now. By the way, it's not uncommon to have differences between your two sides, either in flexibility or in strength, because you are a bifurcated being. You have habits. You have things that you do on the right and things that you do on the left. You have injuries that you've had on the right, on the left. One of the great things about yoga is that it balances the two sides, but it doesn't make our differences not a reality. Okay, so as you're sinking nice and low into this squat on the right side and you're rotating the left toes, knee toward the sky, maybe you find that open chest, reaching the right fingertips toward the sky, left fingertips, gaze goes up. And maybe you find the wrap around the back knee on this side. I can't usually do that. All those sun salutations we did really warmed up my shoulders. Here, for those of you who haven't seen what that looks like, this is what the backside of that might look like if you want to try, if you want to try finding that wrap around the back. All right, let's come out of it nice and slow with control. Oh, yeah. Give your legs a little shake. Okay, have a seat on the mat. Let's finish this out with some stretching, shall we? Reclined figure 4. Cross your right ankle over the left knee. And as you lie down on your back, pull the left knee toward the face. Nice stretch for the outer hip. Switch sides. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. And as you pull the right knee toward the face, relax the left knee away from you. And slowly release. One last time, hug both knees to the chest, rounding the spine, coming up into a teeny tiny little ball. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, release the legs, release the arms, release your body into your final resting pose, whatever that looks like for you. Arms, legs, arms straight, legs straight. Whatever pose would allow you to relax. Whatever pose allows you to close your eyes and find a sense of ease, a sense of comfort. That is your resting pose. Shavasana. And slowly begin to reawaken the body. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles. Reach the arms overhead toward the back, point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch. And on the exhale, roll over to the right side. And then when you are ready, make your way back up to a comfortable seated position. Whatever that looks like for you. I'm taking a kneeling position. You can go cross-legged. You can go seated with your legs out in front of you. It's totally up to you. When you get there, just close your eyes for a moment. Lightly rest your hands in your lap. Take a moment of stillness. A moment of consideration. A moment to acknowledge that you, as the observer, are always able to hover above the circumstances of your life and choose your response. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will be here on YouTube next week. Bye.